Chat, will you bear with me just a moment? I've had to rush a couple of things dead last minute. I'm very sorry. Give me like a minute. Sorry about this. Sorry about the wait there. Let me, Aha. Hold on. Let me put my phone in a place where I can be seen. Welcome, everyone, to the first painting stream we've done in literal forever. Let me know if you can see everything okay, because, yeah. That? Is that better? If that's better or worse. We'll find out. This might be a lot of me looking at the screen. How's the volume, by the way? Is it all okay? Let's put the clock out. Just flop it out on the camera right now. How did Kerbal get banned? Oh, shit. He whipped his entire fucking schmeat out. And the mods were so terrified about the size, the girth, the texture of his schmeat that they ran for the hills. Legend says they're still running. The sheer girth of my massive fucking meat. My titanic schmeat hammer. Right. Let me grab my paints. So, today, children, we're going to paint some Red Corsairs. This is my Red Corsairs Reeve Captain. Hopefully you can see him okay. Focus. Focus, damn you. Indeed. Now, I appreciate at the minute, he's quite white. It's a bit hard to tell his features, isn't it? But we're gonna fix that. He's gonna take the red, you know? So I have done a bit of a mild kit bash. This shoulder pad here is technically meant for use with the sword arm. There's a bit of an indent in to allow the, that to fit. I, however, wanted to use it with the mace arm, so I did a small trim, a bit of adjustments. But I think it turned out just fine and looks natural, so we'll move on. Just thought I'd mention that. Of course, he's on with his plasma pistol and a little bolt pistol tucked away over there. Yeah, he gets them both. I don't quite know what the stats are on that, but he just gets them both. So, let me have a look at our paint, shall we? So, I am not as prepared as I would like, chat. So, my sincerest apologies. We're going to probably need some Norn oil at some point. What else we want? More Norn? More Norn. Bit of Reichland, I think, probably. I would say definitely. This, potentially, I'll think about it. But generally speaking, red and black is the game. I am Pelerex. I am painting some red Corsairs. I have chosen the side of heresy. Evil Sun Scarlet eventually, but Bloodguard probably. Earthshade, obviously, I'm gonna need that. Silicon Grey. You know, we might use some Silicon Grey actually. Blood Angels Red. I think this should do nicely for the red. Indeed, we are indeed painting the boys of Luft Huron, the Tyrant of Badab, Lord of the Maelstrom, and honestly, very based. I don't care who they are going to send. I am not paying taxes. Also, before we continue, thank you, Rima, for the follow, by the way. I don't know if you'll ever see this, but thank you. You are the best horse. If you don't understand that joke, don't worry. It's okay. The real Rima knowers will understand that one. Right. Do you want to use this or corn red? I'll see how this looks on like a piece of armor. So this is contrast paint. We're going to do our best not to spill it. If I spill it, I'll be mildly annoyed. Is brush thin enough? We'll find out. Blood Angels Red's pretty nice. I hate how much it moves, and I like... You know, we'll just go a little bit more in the pot. We are just gonna close the pot down. My own sanity. Can't make me taxes. They can't never catch it. Exactly. You know what? The tyrant of the true ruler of Badab still rules. Rules New Badab. Now, we might get some overspill. That's okay, because we'll just come back around. And we get to be quite selective here, chat. We do. We get to be very, very selective about what we choose to paint black and what we choose to paint red. Because, you know, there is no formality to this. The Red Corsairs are a pirate force after all. They are Chaos Space Marines. There is no formality to this shit. It is simply on a fuck it we ball level. Now, admittedly, having the cape on does make this a little difficult at times, but it's okay. Yeah, this is gonna be the rough step. The more neater step will come later. We go in there with the more precise brush. I might even pull out a more precise brush now, and you know, we'll just fucking figure it out. But I'm just gonna block in some areas that are gonna be red. We'll deal with the precision later, so don't worry if it looks a bit messy now. We will clean it up. Who's sucking? Who's licking? Who's a licky? You're licking the white stuff on on the fucking palette I'm using, Zork. Hope you enjoy its taste. How you doing, buddy? No, actually, I would like a thinner brush. I think actually this one's okay, but I actually want something thinner. Paint, yes, delicious paint. This is Wraithbone. I do have some White Scar. You know, speaking of the White Scars, can I just say, out of the many things I would like to build for Heresy, White Scars are actually one I'd consider. Covenant Heresy. That's my thinner brush. Hide. Thinner brush of mine. See if you can find the thinner brush. That's a medium brush. That'll do for later. That's a smaller brush. I want my really thin one. Where's my aha? The Artificer layer brush. My beloved. Right. I'll show you a Wraithbone. Hey, yo. I'm just saying White Scars tastes better. Ah, I see. Yeah. I want a thinner brush. It's just gonna let me be more precise about this. Get it more at the pot. No problem with this stuff, it dries so quickly. Occasionally it becomes quite difficult to work with. Right. I do have one of the funny handles, which is like a sex toy if my hand starts cramping up. Don't worry. I have the Games Workshop branded butt plug. It's not its official name, but I think it's funny to call it that. Where else do we want some red? Maybe on the lower part of the backpack. Can you guys see it okay? I think you can see it okay, can't you? If anyone's wondering with contrast, you kind of want to just put it on in one application, let it dry, then work with it after. While it's wet, you can kind of move it around, but try not to add more if you can help it. Again, don't worry too much about overspillage at this point, because I'm going to be honest with you. We can go over it. Colors. We're going to lighten it up in places anyway. Anywhere else we'd like red? Let's see. The upper chest, the right arm, lower backpack. Left leg. I think that's alright. We'll come back to him. This is dried off a little bit. We are painting some Chaos Terminators as well. These utter chonky boys. If you drink Orpheus Bitter, it makes you go wah. It does make you go wah, it's true. So, one thing the Red Corsairs is pretty consistent is the helmets are always black. They have to work. They have to work now. My god, already. It's okay, buddy. You'll be free soon. You'll be free soon. May it go quickly for you, buddy. Right, make sure we've got plenty on this brush. Well, this one, admittedly, we may be able to go a bit more liberal with. So, I have a running idea what I want to do with this warband once I've, like, built it up. I kind of want to split it into the kind of... the guys who are less Chaos Corrupted, the guys who are more Chaos Corrupted. So, like, the Raiders, for example, and certain other forces that are a little less obviously corrupt. I kind of want to have them one side of it. Then... maybe some of the Legionnaires, depends. Be a bit, again, less on the corrupted end. But then you're going to have stuff like Chosen. I think a second, like a Chaos Lord to run with the Warband. Basically is like, it's sort of other side of the Force that's a bit more, how should we say, less uncertain about their allegiances to the Dark Gods. Considering a lot of the Red Corsairs serve chaos, but it's like they aren't slaves, if that makes sense. They aren't slaves to darkness. They are just, how should we say? They hate the Imperium. They hate them for what they've done to them, and so they want to make them suffer. And they will collect anyone who will aid in this mission. So a Red Corsairs force could contain a little bit of everyone. So if you want to have your Red Corsairs with, like, fucking Plague Marines, fucking go for it, champ. Absolutely go for it, my friend. Don't let anyone stop you. You know what? You're Red Corsairs, for one. But also, the law completely backs you up with the fact that, literally, as long as you will swear allegiance to Huron Blackheart, you can join the Red Corsairs. Now, obviously, if you ever find yourself being not useful, I put myself in the fucking eye with my brush, Jesus Christ. Or, you know, you find yourself, shall we say, thinking traitorous thoughts against Huron, well, that's how you die. That's how your ass goes straight to hell. No second chances, no forgiveness, straight to hell. If you're lucky, it'll be quick. If you're not lucky, well, maybe you'll be given to one of the other elements of the Red Corsairs. Like, well, for example, they might decide that your meat will make an excellent sacrifice to help make a demon engine, because, yeah, they'll use them too. They'll 10k off until the big something. Good lord. Good lord. You know, I'll be honest, I still haven't decided what I'm doing with that. I need to sit down and really decide that. Because at some point it'll happen, I'll have to sit there and make a decision. I'm very tempted just to give myself a few options and make a fucking rotating wheel. I think what I'll probably do with that, honestly, it'll be a bit of me asking you what you want, and then me also, if you're not sure, we'll pull the wheel. You know, we'll spin the wheel. see where it goes, eh? If anyone's wondering why I'm putting this on the palette, always do that, by the way. Seriously, serious note. Always use the palette because you want to thin your paints. Don't be one of those people who don't thin their paints. Trust me, thin your paints. If you don't thin your paints, and my hand's on to cramp now, so I'm going to have to pull the thing out. If you don't thin your paints, they will look rather bad. Objectively, they will look rather bad. Right, here's the, not butt plug that we used to hold these fuckers. Now, the challenge of getting them on. Stay on. Okay. I was worried they're going to ping off or something. Right, let's make this easier in my hand. Now, depending on how my hand goes, chat, will depend on how long this stream ends up being. Just fair warning to you. My hand starts really hurting, we'll have to cut it short. But I will always give you updates on where we're at with this, because I like to share my work. This is something I feel I'm good enough at doing that I'm comfortable to share it. And one day my drawing will hopefully get there too, but for now, when it comes to painting Warhammer models, it's something I am comfortable at sharing with you. It's a side of my hobby I'm quite happy to share, because as much as I think I'm not that great, I also do acknowledge that I've gotten pretty alright at it. There are definitely people who are way better at this than me, but you know what? That goes for anything, right? And I think, deep down, I am actually rather prideful of what I've created. Quite happy with what I've made. So, many ways, I am quite happy to show this off. Thank you, thank you. To be honest, I think that they're alright, honestly. Like, I know I can get better. Part of that is definitely brush control. Do you want any more red on this guy? I think... Perhaps a bit of red on the other foot. Honestly, the red and black combo is really just a at my leisure kind of thing. There is no hard rule to it. Some characters like Huron himself are pretty much all red. Now, see, the thing I like about doing Red Corsairs as well is the Terminator armor doesn't bother me as much, because for the Legions, I don't like the fact they're using Dominus Terminator armor, because I'm a fucking purist sometimes, and I think, why are we using Indominus plate on fucking Legionaries? They would have Tartarus or Cataphracti still. It has not been 10,000 years for them. It has been maybe a couple hundred at most. They literally are out of time. So, this is the champion, by the way. He was meant to have little, like, horn bits in the front, but I forgot to use that version. But in classic style, having the extra tusk on top is normally denoting them. 84 years. Honestly, for them, it's only been 84 years. For the rest of us, it's been 10,000. I'm going to have to double check, actually. Is the Red Corsair golden? Ah, it is red. Hang on a sec, then. I've been a bit silly here. Let me quickly sort a little mistake, then. I guess, to be fair, it's not really a very difficult mistake to fix. Just going to quickly paint the red in the Red Corsair. So, a little bit of history on these guys, though I'm not going to go into full detail on the Badab War. The Reeve Captain has a black shoulder pad, so his will stay black. So they used to be called the Astral Claws back when they were loyalists. They were really a bit glory hungry, but they were good loyalists. They were good Marines, right? They did their job, defended the Imperium. They did what they were supposed to do. They were given the honor of having 2 successor chapters, which is not a very common honor given to a second founding. They were given that honor. They earned it. They were damn good Marines, and eventually they were given the honor of making up the leaders of what ended up being called the Maelstrom Warders. In essence, the Maelstrom is a technically not Imperial territory, but it's not independent either. But it is a resource extraction zone, the area around the Maelstrom is. But the problem is it's so fucking dangerous to be around there that it's honestly almost ungoverned. But there's so many, like, random threats. Chaos Space Marines, Eldar Raiders, Orc Raiders, all kinds of people. They're the monsters. Crawl out from there. And essentially, the Astral Claws, Lamenters, I think the Channel Guard were there at one point, as were the Mantis Warriors who were already living around there. Mantis Warriors, you may have heard of them. They are a White Scar successor chapter, all about guerrilla warfare. And the Lamenters you've definitely heard of before, because they are the most unlucky bastards in the galaxy. This was one of the most unluckiest situations. Being friends with Luft Huron and the Astral Claws. Basically, how should we say? At first, well, essentially they were called there because a Chaos Space Marine warband called the Reborn fucking annihilated a planet. Wholesale. And it caused it was a pretty important planet too. I think that happened before they turned up. But essentially stuff like that was happening. And so the High Lords of Terror, the government basically, were like, hey, this zone produces a shit ton of the rarest resources in the Imperium. Like, we're talking the kind of shit to make void shields and all kinds of really advanced equipment that the Imperium at the time was not exactly, how should we say, filled with. Like, this was before Belisarius Crawl and his borderline heresy. And the general, like, uptick in Imperial technology. Like, this was a time where they had to be more careful with resources. Also, fun fact, the War for Badab was detailed before the Horus Heresy. So, as far as in real-world timeline, this was written about before Horus Heresy was. This was actually something that was, like, detailed long before then. So, in a lot of the depictions of the Badab War, you'll see a lot of Marines in older marks of armor, which is reflected by the Raiders. They've got a mix of, like, Mark 3, Mark 7, Mark 6, Mark 4. Like, they had a lot of the Marines in that era had a lot of older marks of armor, actually. It was actually a lot of veteran, like, stuff was utilized. Hell, the guys on the Imperial side, the Red Scorpions, their chapter master got interred in a Leviathan dreadnought, of all things. Not exactly a common thing in this point in time, you know? Like, that was a lost relic of the heresy right there. So, you know, not exactly a like a common thing at all. So, like, obviously, when the Minotaurs showed up, they came in with, like, I mean, they've got some shit going on, right? Because they're way too chummy with the High Lords of Terror. Put it that way. I believe them guys, when they turn up, some of their lore basically says they were loyalist Iron Warriors, which explains a lot, because they are fucking arseholes. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, so warders were assembled. They actually, after weathering the storm, began pushing back the invaders. They actually got to the point where they were genuinely pushing into the maelstrom, locking it down. Right? Which you'd think was great, right? You'd think, amazing. This is exactly what we need. The maelstrom being dealt with, and then finally, trade, because bear in mind, again, this is where so many important resources were produced, right? Or found. Abundance. Okay, so this wasn't like a small thing. This place being, properly settled and dealt with was a massive, massive important thing to be done. So important that the Imperium of Man decided to redirect the Channel Guard away from the Warders. Why? Because, well, the Imperium needed them elsewhere, of course, didn't they? Sorry, I'm just moving one of the wires out the way so I keep smacking it as I brush back down. But yeah, so, of course... Hold on. Sorry. There we go. That should be the last time I'm shaking it. Tyros is my favourite. Tyros. We'll get to Tyros. Because obviously, as I'm sure you know, this was one of the major battles that's actually been recorded where the Space Sharks actually turned up. There are not many recorded battles where the Space Sharks were present, by the way, because most of their encounters are unofficial and borderline rumors. Because, put it this way, there are many conspiracy theories about the Red Wake and about his boys, but I'll be very blunt. There is also a lot of fear of him. There's a lot of fear of the Red Wake. And I'll put it this way. The Carcharodon's Astra, or the Space Sharks, are one of the most feared chapters of Space Marines ever. They are so violent, so brutal, they are often compared to Chaos Space Marines rather than Loyalists. Because of how brutal they are. In fact, during the Badab War, many Loyalist forces refused to continue the fight because they were disgusted by the violence against Imperial civilians conducted by Space Sharks. Because, I'll put it this way, to get a bit ahead myself, the Space Sharks decided the way to get the Mantis Warriors, a force known for being hard to find, out of hiding, they'd just start butchering the civilians they were sworn to protect. And after the cries of a few billion were screamed into the void, they returned. There was the Red Wake, with Hunger and Slake growling at full fucking tilt. And there's a very infamous image of him standing over a number of Mantis Warriors before he's about to butcher them. And I'll be very honest with you, if any of them survived, well, I'll be honest, they probably didn't. Tyros is the kind of man who will see a Tyranid fucking bioship attacking his vessel, board the Tyranid vessel, and kill it, along with every living thing that's dared to look at his ship for too long. So, yeah, needless to say, he is one of the most lethal Astartes out there. Bonafide badass, and is very likely to get his own model, by the way. Hell, he is actually, in the most recent lore, he has been called back to the Badab sector. The Inquisition has sent out a plea for him to return, though he has recently been quite injured. Now don't worry, that's a good thing, because he's probably going to get a new model. He's probably going to cross the Rubicon and become even bigger and get a nice new model. Probably an upgrade kit for his boys. You know what, I should really just bring all these guys over here. Oh, chat. Would you like to see something big real quick? I'd like to present you the largest model I'm ever going to build or paint. I'd like you to behold the Pale King in all of his splendor. This is him next to a Reeve captain, by the way. Yeah. I've got to paint that boy up at some point, but that won't be for today. He's as big as a Vulcan already. How's he gonna help? Honestly, he's gonna get big. Oh, he ain't Vulcan big. No, I don't think he's quite Vulcan big. Not quite. He's basically about he out of his armor is about Primaris height, I believe. Pretty big. They might be saying, Kerbal, why aren't you using your little stand? I'm stubborn, and it takes a second to put it on the stand. I'm just going to try and do this quickly. We'll see if my hand likes it. But Tybros is a big boy. Also, do you like the big tusks on this guy? I decided I wanted to give him the big tusks for his big gun. This is a Reaper autocannon, very common sight along Chaos. And yes, he can take in the cursed weapon with it because he's a fucking Terminator. Fuck you. What are you gonna do about it? Gonna cry about it? Well, you can cry all the way to the Emperor, his corpse empire. I don't know if Huron actually hates the Emperor or not, but I know he hates the Imperium. I seem to remember he's a very classic case of, I don't hate the Emperor, but I do hate his Imperium. Right. Yeah, so, where was I? Vulcan was around. He's 11 foot. Only. Oh, okay. Didn't know they released the official height for him. But there was a So basically, once the Channel Guard were sent away because the High Lords of Terror wanted them for honestly a real nothing burger. Like they sent the Channel Guard to a place that just doesn't matter. I forget where it was now, but it was some fucking place that just did not bastard matter at all. And it was really, really stupid of them to send them there. It was a waste of their efforts. Like, the Channel Guard, they're not a bad chapter. They're decent. They're, I believe, a Blood Angels descendant. A bit controversial among the Blood Angels, I believe, but still. But the Astral Claws at the time were like, hey, guys, can we want to continue the Scourge campaign so we can fucking clear the Maelstrom out, and then you won't need us being there. We can then go elsewhere because there won't be any fucking threats in the Maelstrom. Isn't that great, guys? The High Lords went, we're not even going to listen to this. No. So, all the progress they'd made was essentially undone. Which wasn't great for the chapter, but they were like, okay, we'll carry on, we'll keep defending. And then more raids kept coming. They then, I believe, went into the Maelstrom alone to try and deal with an Orc incursion. Lost their original chapter master to that Orc war boss. And the idea of an 11-foot tall dude and biggest power armor being super sneaky just hurt me. Here's the fucked up part, by the way, Decker. He is described as moving at good speed. He can sprint. He's extremely adept at using his Terminator plate. So, yeah. He is at minimum able to run around and actually is quite maneuverable. In heavy-ass Terminator power armor, bearing in mind he is also wielding a massive Power Claw Chain Fist combo that's massive and is likely a Raven Guard relic. Likely from the Terranborn Raven Guard, considering he stole that from the Ashen Claws. Well, speaking of claws, the Astral Claws obviously were. I know you really fast for one exactly is insane. But the Astral Claws, they were in a rough spot. So, a renowned and quite respected captain named Luft Huron was appointed to be chapter master and head of the Maelstrom Wardens. Huron was quite a young captain, but extremely accomplished, extremely respected, and was actually very liked by his chapter. Like, he achieved the rank of captain way ahead of what he should have. But he was that good. At the end of the day, most Space Marine chapters are meritocracy. He went through all the usual steps. But he was just that good. That, like, efficient at what he did as he rose for the companies. He was very quick to become captain. You know, he didn't get like fast track necessarily in a bad way. He was very much just fit for the role. So they gave him the role of captain, and then when the vote was cast, he became chapter master. And that, in many ways, was a very good decision, but also the beginning of the damnation of the chapter. There's a chance there is claws, yeah. The chain fist part's definitely a modification. Gorax would never use chain weapons. He is a liker of power weapons and very precise, quick things. The Terranborn of the Raven Guard 100% would use chain weapons, because they were into terror tactics. In many ways were borderline Night Lords. But You know, I realize I don't need to use a small brush with these guys. They're quite big, detailed. Look like they're all chunky. The Reef Captain's quite new and is quite crisp. The Termies are probably okay to have a slightly bigger brush. Also, the small layer might honestly do nicely for them. This one I've basically done. yeah, so he obviously petitioned regularly, very well articulated, fully. Like, I want to stress this: Love Turon went through all the correct steps to get this approved. Now, he made a full proposal, fully written out with Imperial law, like, hey, we need to deal this. This is a threat to the Imperium. It will be an eternal threat to the Emperor's realm. That was really sneaky, but it was just... honestly, yeah, that's probably a factor. Again, the Imperium just refused. They didn't even look at him. They just refused his petitions every time. So, he got angry. He got really fucking angry. And eventually, when a rebellion happened on Badab Primaris, he and the Astral Claws basically decided, okay, you're going to rebel against us? Against the Emperor? Fuck you. Went onto the planet and mass executed all the nobility involved. They didn't take the little guy. Gotta respect them for that. They went straight for the nobility. They knew where the problem started. They knew exactly who started the problems. They're like, okay, you want to rebel against us, against the Emperor? That's cool. We're gonna kill all of you guys, you nobility, who, you know, started this crap. And, I'm going to take over Badab as the world for my chapter. And he named himself the Tyrant of Badab. Yeah, that's the name he came up with himself. Because as far as he was concerned, yeah, I will be a tyrant over this world of traitors. And he seized its massive forges, its, like, resources, and over time he built a massive, like, reserve of weapons. Started stealing pirate ships, by the way, and retrofitted them. Started training unaugmented troops to be about as good as Imperial Guard. So the Tyrant's Guard was formed. Tyrant's Legion, excuse me, was formed. And they were normal humans, like you or me, you know? But they were trained by Space Marines. Quite often their squads would be accompanied by a Space Marine. They might say, well, hang on, there's only 1,000 Astral Claws, how'd they pull that off? We'll get to that later, but let's just say, as the war went on, they started being very dishonest about their gene seed. In fact, for a while, they withheld gene seed being donated, and in fact, towards the end, well, towards the war, they basically didn't give gene seed away anymore. But they were like, hey, Admech, listen, we're going to need our gene seed for a bit, we've got a big campaign coming, we can't send you it right now, okay? And they were like, fine, but you will send it to us when things calm down. They're like, yeah, sure, defo. They never did. They kept us up for quite a while. Now, you're allowed so long if a campaign's going on. The Admech are understanding. But they do need their tithe. And you're going to get to where I joked about the taxes. Because, you know, well, Huron started withholding taxes. He would say, hey, I am using them right now. These resources belong to me right now, as I need them to deal with the threats, the Maelstrom. The Imperium went, okay, fair enough. But eventually they were like, hey, you've had these resources for a while now, and look, at first we were like, right, you need them, that's fair enough. But you've had them for a while now, and don't you think the Emperor's owed his due? Don't you think that perhaps it's time you give your taxes money? Hey, Ren. So, of course, Huron says no, and performs the rite of just succession. You might say, but what about the other two chapters? Yeah, they fully agreed. Oh, there was a bit where the Black Templars arrived and helped him for a bit, but then they had to leave because the Tyranids had arrived. This was around that time period when they first turned up. It's why Kelgar has new arms and legs. The Swarm Lord ripped them off. But yeah, so he performed just succession, basically saying, hey, I am separating us from the Imperium, but we will still worship the Emperor, basically. And the Imperium didn't like that because the Imperium is that needy ex who says, hey, you can't go, I'm not letting you. Also, because if they just let everyone leave, then things would get pretty bad for the Imperium. And again, this is the Maelstrom, the really important resource zone. Remember how I mentioned it contained loads of important resources? Yeah, well, they didn't want to let that go, so they tried to get it back, and let's just say the reclamation force that first turned up of normal humans got blown the fuck out the sky because he covered the main planet in a ring of iron. Essentially, a fuck ton of space stations covered in enough guns to blow up most ships. So yeah. Shit at the fan. Rivals game. You're marveling your rivals right now. Oh, you're already back home? I thought you didn't finish till April. Or are you watching a Rivals game? Back home only for the weekend. Ah, okay. There you go. I was gonna say I didn't think it was April. Well, I'll say it's not April already. I'd be a lot happier. It'd be my holiday as well. So let me know if you can actually see what I'm painting. I'm trying to keep it in the camera light, but obviously sometimes I don't notice because I'm intent looking at the model. But yeah, so our dear Space Marines end up embroiled in a bit of a civil war, the second biggest one since the Horus Heresy. Over many brutal years did the forces loyal to Lufturon eventually get pushed back. Now, eventually, the Space Sharks and Minotaurs chapters were called in because they are both great at butchering other Space Marines. So they turn up. The Inquisition's quite involved, and eventually they do manage to get a dab. Now, during the war, the Executioners, the successor of the Imperial Fists, did help the Astral Claws for a while until the Astral Claws did, let's just say they did the unthinkable and started stealing Gene Seed. And the Executioners saw this and went, fella, we swore a blood debt to you, not so you could just eat someone's fucking seed. So, now we ain't following that. You ain't doing that. However, a few of them did turn traitor and stay with Huron. One of Huron's right-hand men is an executioner, who is his personal executioner, by the way. Go figure. Also, during this time, the Astral Claws started painting bits of their armor red. That's where the whole red paintwork come from. Went from blue to red. Eventually, they would completely don red and black. Their go-to scheme. Dry. Then you. The shit paints. The stuff dries quickly, so I can wait long for it. Gonna hop. See, I'm gonna hop into something more comfy. Damn, Deck, you just stripping off midstream. Jesus, it's bold. Don't go looking through Decker's windows, chat. You'll see him naked. And stripping. Yeah, so that's the very shortened version of the Badab War. If you want a longer version, there are like 1 billion channels who've done a longer version. Yeah, and then after the fact, they rose up again as the Red Corsairs, a band of Chaos Space Marine pirates. As it turns out, being a bunch of 8-foot tall superhumans who can walk around with rapid-fire rocket launchers and an anger issue like no other is a great way of conquering other pirates. And so Luft Huron and the boys found the One Piece. But unlike Monkey D. Luffy, they didn't quite form a merry band of pirates. They formed a group of horrific raiders who slowly grew in power, and are at Legion strength now, due to them stealing Gene Seed, stockpiling their own, and also collecting every single reprobate in the galaxy they get their hands on. They have a force that are about on par with most of the legions of old, and are actually a match for even elements of the Black Legion, the largest warband of Chaos Space Marines around. Don't get me wrong, the World Eaters will do more damage, but some World Eaters might decide, hey, we can still serve Khorne by joining the Red Corsairs. You know what? Yeah, they can. Again, the Corsairs don't particularly worship any one god, but, you know, if you do specifically, good for you, boo. Good for you. You know, they don't really encourage it, but some do. Like, you're gonna find Noise Marines, you're gonna find Plague Marines. Like, as long as you're loyal to Huron, they don't care. As long as you're loyal to Blackheart, he does not give a flying fuck. As long as you're there to see the Empire burn, then, hey, you're welcome aboard. A lot of loyalists end up joining the Red Corsairs as well. Basically, it's easier for a lot of, how should I say, renegade Space Marines to end up joining a group like the Red Corsairs than is the Black Legion. Because the Corsairs are still kind of recognizably Marines, whereas in many ways the Black Legion have lost a lot of that. They've been in the Eye of Terror for ages. Many of them have fallen to chaos fully. And, you know, they've got tentacles growing out of every orifice, and horns and spikes, and many of them full-on worship chaos and scream about butchering the Empire and all this, and ways that might not be quite at the level of where a renegade might be at that time. Don't get me wrong, Chaos has a way of turning all good people very, very crooked. But, you know, when it comes to Corsairs, they're a little bit chiller. Not by much. But, you know, on a scale of 1 to, on a scale of 1 to kicking babies down a corridor or stamping them so hard you summon a little micro-demon, they're nowhere near that level. Now, they aren't quite there yet. Now, some of their members might be about there, but the majority of the faction aren't quite at the baby murder just yet. This is an extreme example, but yeah. Mostly because, I'll be very honest, 1 is not nearly enough. They would sacrifice billions. Chaos is fickle, and you know what? You have to hedge your bets. Sacrifice a few billion instead. With a B. Right. I think that's the red done on these guys. Let's go back to our OG. Let's have a look at him. Now, no, we'll put a bit of red here as well, actually. Yeah, there we go. Right. A bit more red on the backpack as well, I think. All right. I think that's good. Start applying a bit of black to this guy. Why are we licking balls? What the fuck? What's this ball licking and fondling going on here? I look up and I just see licking and balls. I saw Dev them on my screen. Oh, you're playing Rival at the same time. Okay. Right. Here. Where's my black paint? Grab it. That's so multitasking. Damn. She's gooning while playing Marvel Rivals. Playing Marvel Rivals one-handed. That's a skill. I'll give you that. It's a skill. Lady, you've got some goddamn skill with that. Okay, this one is not contrast paint. Why more of a thicker application. Again, we can still be kind of messy. Now, what I should have done was probably use this stuff to base them, and maybe the next lot I might base in black, but then again, having the white lets me use contrast. So, the contrast paints, not contrasting colors, obviously. Not to confuse the terminology there. This is a non-contrast paint. This is good old-fashioned paint. Now I'm going to try and go between straps and things. Okay, good. You can see what I'm seeing. Actually, one way I could have based this, hypothetically, would be a more brown base. This guy's the Reeve Captain, so they're not quite a Chaos Lord, so physically speaking, he's not quite got the same kind of physical prowess. What he does have, though, is obviously, like, he's a captain. So, like, he's still a character, so decently good at what he does. but he's a bit less corrupted by the dark gods. Probably still a little corrupted. Got his very twisted iron halo on his back. That's what that big thing is on his back. Basically, think of it like a force field generator. That's essentially what it is. It's typically a relic given to those of distinguished valor and excellence in the chapter. However, obviously, he either is an original, the Astral Claws, or, simply put, he stole it. Somebody killed. There's no honor among thieves and all that. The warp, there is no honor. Not really. There's the idea of honor, but it's probably long lost. Most who fight for chaos. Probably for most who've fallen to chaos, the idea of honor is a nice joke. You know, it's oh yeah, that weakness. Don't worry about the hand symbol. We'll get back to the hand symbol. Is nice gold. Again, because he's a fancy boy of rank. These are too thick. Black paint on white. It's quite easy to paint over. Ooh. Big win. Damn the big goon. Did you steal MVP from someone else? I kid, of course. I'm just feeding into the meme. And you can already hear Decker this now. She stole my MVP. I'll get it, buddy. You'll get your MVP. I believe in you. If you're wondering, yes, the top knot is very required. How else are they going to know your chaos? I mean, to be fair, it's more of a Sons of Horus thing normally, but bits where it didn't quite come on this neatly. Nice go to black on all these. Now, the washers and the like will do wonders for us soon enough. I am. Extra play around if you don't hate me. The licking. Some lick. Madam, put your tongue. Hide your tongue. Just can't stop me. Damn. Decker, you must rub yourself in something sour. Or hand sanitizer. There you go. Rub yourself in hand sanitizer. It's the only way, bro. The only way it'll stop. The only way the licking will stop. You must sanitize your whole body. Just step in the top of the stuff. It'll be unlickable then. Cut stock. That's a more extreme option. Oh, fuck. Die. Where's my funny? Also, do you like my model holding device? What do you reckon, Ren? I reckon some of you in chat have seen this before. This is officially branded. Oh, they're not called Citadel Color anymore. Shit, they're called Warhammer Color now. Shit, this is an oldie. This is now. Then again, all my Warhammer paints are. I am looking at other brands, by the way. Don't worry. Do I? No. I've fit the Terminators on these. It's just need to. Oh shit! Being clumsy. Close that. Oh, so there's a problem. Hold on. Come on, get on there. There we go. God, that shit's tight. God, I thought you should as a butt plug. No. It's for holding the model. Sorry, it was rather tight to get it on there then. Oh. Oh, fuck. Right. Okay. The Majos has spoken. Bring forth the holy butt-lugger. Prepare the rite of gaping. Prepare the rites of gaping. The prisoner won't talk. Spread his cheeks. What have you got there, interrogator? The Starry's pad and condom. The Emperor protects. It's the only way you can fuck a sister in battle. Try finger butthole. No. We've tried that. He didn't talk. So the Mechanicus is going to stretch him out of his fucking mechadendrite. What am I even saying? Chat, help me. I'm deranged. More deranged than usual today. It's this chaos influence, chat. I am being influenced by the chaos gods. this guy will get a bit more attention than the other ones because he's a character. Though, you know, the Terminators are my elites, so they can have a little bit of smooching. They're loving. Not just anyone get Terminator army, you know. Found the relic of Terra Omega. It's called the Bad Dragon. Yes, we found ancient Imperial records that suggest that before the Emperor, the heathens and what was once called Earth used to do this shit to their assholes and spread their cheeks. This is why humanity fell before the Emperor rose. Obviously, as you can see here, the Imperium does not condone the stretching of Uranus like this. Obviously making us morally superior, we swear to you. Now eat your corpse starch that came from your cousin after they died in a definitely accidental explosion, and not because they questioned the Imperial tithe. Well, the conversation goes. On a side note, don't ever question the Imperial tithe, kids. That's how you die. Ah, it's a Space Marine skull. Okay. You reckon, chap? Are you keen for the Imperial cheek spreader 9000? Pretty sure the mechanics would study one of those Bluetooth butt plugs. They found one. I mean, any technology from the Golden Age is holy, after all, and well, technology intended to go down the hole is, yeah. uh, yeah. How did we get here? How did we get here? Oh, because this thing looks like a fucking butt plug. Yeah. I mean, hey, it feels great to be able to hold this and not hold the we always get here. We do always somehow get so the topic of gaping comes up far too often, chat. We need to stop meeting like this, chat. Honestly, we need to stop meeting like this. You guys need to stop bringing up. You guys need to stop bringing up arseholes here, you know. But Cobble, you started it. No, I didn't. That's gaslighting. I, the angel here, I'm innocent. Actually. It's not me, sinner, who is guilty. It's not I, the fly. Okay. I'm gonna rub chilies all over his enemy Rose asshole in a minute. Huh? You pulled out the holy butt plug, who knows where. Sorry, you didn't quite have the pop, did you? Twitch, I promise this is for model holding. Notice how it holds the model. It's an official product. Who am I kidding? Twitch mods aren't here. Decker, are you realizing sometimes my freak far out freaks you sometimes? Are you realizing my freak is perhaps a bit more freaky? Sometimes you will forget. I can be far freakier. Keeps fisting you? Well, that's certainly a word choice, Ren. Certainly a word choice. Strap? Oh, man of God, my freak is controlled. Well, first game, great, second, terrible. Well, second one, you got fisted, so I mean, yeah. It sounds like it went pretty terribly, honestly. I normally consider it a rather rough day if I get fisted. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I can't say that I get fisted very often, or at all, really. So, yeah, I would consider being fisted a pretty rough day. A real handful, you know? Oh, shit. Oh, bollocks, that come off. This is what I was worried about. This is what I was worried about. It's okay. This is fixable. I hate these bits, though. Thankfully, the bare plastic's still exposed. We'll get back to that one. Keep my mouth shut. Right. No, it's fine. It's fine. This bit I was a little bit worried about. Okay. Plastic glue. To the rescue. If this don't work, we might have to go and get some super glue. We'll leave him for a bit. Let him dry off. Cause... yeah, the joys of dropping your model, eh? This is why I don't like this thing, because I have to fucking, like, really stretch it out just to fit something on here. Right. Happens to me all the time when I'm painting Necrons. Honestly, man. You gotta really grip this thing tightly, okay? You've got to get in there tight, chat. You know. You've got to really get your fingers in there and spread the thing wide, okay? Then put this thing in and lock it in tight, okay? Don't clip that. I swear I'm not a lewd tuber. I'm not a lewd tuber. I swear I'm not a lewd tuber. I'm not lewd. I swear I'm not a lewd tuber. I'm just describing how you have to really, you know, put some pressure on this thing. So I'm gonna try and say I'm not a lewd tuber. The one you fucker's gonna mention the joke about the Only Angels, but like not mention it's a fucking joke. So Kerbal, what's the Only Angels? Like, no. It's not like that. It's not like that. I swear to God, it's not like that. I am starting to see, however, why people paint this thing black initially, then go over the other colours. Maybe I should have got the old Chaos Black spray out. So, on a complete aside, chat, to distract myself from dropping a model, a little bit of current lore, these guys, is, how shall I say, they have done quite a bit. They raided the White Scars homeworld. Yeah, they went to Jagadai Khan's realm and fucking raided that shit. To the point where, I think, well, that was it. They tortured the shit out of the old White Scars chapter master to the point where he will never fight again. Like, legitimately, the current White Scars chapter master is permanently wired up to a machine because of how brutally they tortured him. That's how vicious the Red Corsairs can be. Like, he's a space marine, but he will never again fight. But painting, I am painting some Chaos Space Marines, specifically the Red Corsairs. Gonk does stuff. Also, welcome to the stream. Yeah, still in the early stages. I'm just painting in the black at the minute. Black areas. And then figure out from there. There we go. Yeah, I've got the Red Corsairs little box, or the big box they did for him. Because I've finally decided on what force I'm going to build and paint, and it's Chaos Space Marines. I know Chaos Terminators aren't the best. I know. But I think they look cool sometimes, you know? If done right. It was a long time I used to just not like the hot tusks on these fuckers. But I think in a force like the Red Corsairs that are made up of a lot of newer turncoats rather than like legionnaires, or legionaries, I think they work quite nicely. See, I've always been one of the people who thought that Chaos Terminators, there should be like ancient Chaos Terminators. You're rocking the shit book. Nice, nice. He's a fiddly one to use sometimes. Old Winter Soldier. Though, if you're curious what detachment are running these guys as, I'm actually using the Decapitators detachment, the Alpha Legions, both I built around Alpha Legion. My logic being is I like the idea of like the Infiltrate, and the Red Corsair Raiders, which are quite a new unit, have Infiltrate built in. So, with Legionnaires, and if I build the Chaos Guardsmen as cultists, essentially, if I basically use them as cultists, I essentially get a nice little infiltration force. Quite a nasty one at that. Yeah, we've got a squad of Chaos Terminators and a Reeve Captain we're currently painting up. These are the old Chaos Terminators, but with the upgrade sprue. The Reeve Captain's, of course, new. As are the Red Corsair Raiders. Right, we go water brush. Quite warm in this room, so the paint is drying rather quickly. Right, let me get a point on this brush so I can. Wondering, I'm using Blood Angels Red for the red. Corn Red might be better, and depending on how I feel after stream, I may go back over the red and Corn Red. We'll see. But I'm using Abaddon Black for the black. Keeping it simple, you know? Korax Black's good too, but I think Abaddon Black might be slightly better black for these guys. But I think either works, to be perfectly honest with you. Ugh. But tell me, chat, what have you been up to today? What have you been doing? I myself have been trying to figure out what I want to play after Red Dead. I've also... Oh, there's a thing. Have any of you guys in chat played Doom Dark Ages? I want to know if they fixed it. In particular, I want to know if they fixed the issues with, like, using OBS. I don't know if any of you guys will know. If they have or haven't. Don't know what I want to paint these helmets on these trophy racks, honestly. Might paint them kind of a grey. Essentially have these guys be like Badab veterans. Yeah, that should do just fine. Might paint it in like the kind of style or colours of the loyalist forces on Badab. Right, you secure in. Kinda. Not as secure as I might like, but right, let me just spread these kind of wide so I can pop this. Come on. There you go. There. Round 2. Bacon? What's your bacon? Oh, you're saying what colour I should paint it as? Bacon. Ah, yes. The Adeptus Porkies. The Bacon Marines. Marines have bacon and eggs every morning before they go to battle. And they are known for defending agri-worlds above all else. They have the greatest bacon. The finest pork chop. All the Imperium of Man. Let it be known that any who will attack a agri-world covered in these illustrious creatures will be feeling the full wrath of Bacon Marines. It is said their enemies are put onto the grill. They're quite fans of the flavour, you see. Fun fact, actually, the Imperium do use pigs, but typically they use them to make parchment. A lot of the paper is made from pigskin, I believe, if memory serves. Now, any of my mistakes here, chat, I'll be able to cover up rather elegantly with a few solutions. One is going to be the joys of washers. But I'm also thinking of using a little bit of... Maybe not that one, where is it? Sector Rust. No, this looks like Goon's Grime. Oh, it's Ichor of the Damned. I thought I had Goon's Grime. Oh, that's Goon's Grime. There we are. Bit of Goon's Grime. Oh, hang on. Goon's Grime. Listen to music focused on rivaling extreme. No worries, no worries. I got rid of Goon's Grime. This is a very like strong, oily kind of wash ink as well. It'll rather. Ooh, my chair is all stuck in. There we go. It's a rather good mixture for doing like a really like gross kind of brownish kind of wash. It should make it all look nice and grimdark, and I can slowly rub the excess off with a little bit of mineral spirits. I realize I am slightly overspilling. Again, don't worry about it. We'll be cleaned up. I didn't do the weapon of the last guy, did I? Fuck. That's dumb of me. It's the bolt gun part. So these guys have combi bolters, essentially. Just always been the case. It's kind of the thing from Heresy, where the Terminators will quite often have not necessarily standard, just storm bolters. And of course, Chaos being a lot more disorganized, well, they'll have a bit of everything. Including, yes, belt-fed fucking bolters. Better or worse. Whether I choose to do a kind of plasma heat effect into there, we'll see. I'm gonna go over a lot of these in metallic anyway. Tragically, this chain axe doesn't have its own unique rules, it's just an accursed weapon, as far as the rules are concerned. They used to have their own kind of mechanic, but take him. Yeah, any other bits to do? Nope. Alright. Take you off. I'm gonna quickly grab. Hey! Paint. I was about to say, what's his name? It's Paint here. Hey, man. Playing tournament today. 1 points. Hey, well done, man. Well done. Yeah, I'm doing alright. Hey, Hyrule. Got some big ass hand, man. That wouldn't like get slapped by you. I know, I've got mighty, powerful hands. Very scarred hands. Yeah, I'm doing right, Haru. Doing right, Haru, and also doing right, Paint. Yeah, I'm doing alright. I'm just painting some Red Corsairs. How you doing, Paint? I said paint so much in that sentence. Jesus Christ. Yeah, now I've got meaty hands, Irene. Careful now. These hands are good for many things. They could choke any of you out very easily. Then again, I think half you would like that, wouldn't you? Maybe I'm regretting making the suggestion now. And in this clip, Cobral said I could choke any of you out. To the chat. Like crazy how it... my hands are so fucking tiny that expert. Don't be shorter than me and their hands are the same size as mine. Got whittle hands, Hyru. Whittle hands. Whittle graspers. Little grasping fingies. If anyone's wondering, a lot of this will be gone over in metallics, so if I overspill a bit with the black, it's fine, because there's one thing that goes over literally any other paint just fine, it's fucking metallics. These guns will have a nice coating of metallics in time. Just making sure there's a good solid black on these guns. Ooh, that was a good crack. I can feel my whole fucking arm then. My hands are big, but built like a skeleton. I'm built a skeleton. Them long, spindly fingers. I mean, this is a paintbrush in my hands. A little paintbrush. 5'8", goes to the gym, 170 pounds, has hands like a fucking baby. Damn. Also, I'd like to stress the record, this is for holding models. As you can see, this bit here opens up to hold them. This is not a butt plug. I need to stress this is not going up anyone's ass. Just, I know it looks the right shape to, but yeah. Make that very clear. Should not hold it the other way. So in case somehow a Twitch admin sees this and goes, why the fuck's there a butt plug on the screen? This is definitely a butt plug. 6'5", doesn't work out, eats all the time, still looking starved. Bruh. Hand over your bastard metabolism immediately. I want it. I want it immediately. No, actually. You know what? We'll take 3 of them a bit further. So I want to paint some of them black. We'll come back to some of these others. So I want to paint some other things. Let me think. We want to base all of them with white in the eye, don't we? Gray should do the trick. I realised you can kind of see my legs. I just realised I used to weigh 50 kilograms. I haven't stopped using paint holders. I've stopped using it. Honestly, I'm only using it because, like, I don't know if you heard it then, but that cracking sound was my hand. My left hand, that crack. Also, chat, we are enjoying a little beverage on the side. Thighs reveal when. There you go. Legs for free. You don't know which bit of my leg that was. I know. Legs confirmed? Oh my god. Bitch got legs. Got my hands on some 7 years aged dumb. Ooh. Anything that requires a bit of aging, you know? By using some Celestra Grey. Giving it a good thorough shake. Try not to imagine anything as I shake the paint viciously. Make sure this is, You know what I should have done? I should have brought a tissue with me. Be easy to clean the brush then, wouldn't it? There we go. Hope it was not the third. How do you know? It could have been. When the streamer's that girthy, you can't tell if it's the third leg or the main leg. Really don't know. Just wait for Haru. He's pulling his cock out on me. How is your endeavors going? I haven't picked up any models yet, I must confess. We haven't done any more online games for a bit. I've done the one where I played as Iron Sultanate. So I thought their models looked cool. Shit, hang on. Okay, hang on a sec. Let me stretch these jaws wide so I can put them in. There we go. There's the main kind of, one of my main kind of characters I've got for the faction at the minute. The Reeve Captain. His little Yaha Fiddly Dee pirate. Right. Do a little. Okay. That's done. Doing this bit now, because the eye lenses are a bastard. Then maybe we could do it metallics, potentially, but that's going to be harder to get at. So I went really quiet there, didn't I? But these eye lenses are hard to get at. They're teeny tiny little things. Airtech, no models, Mega. I assume done with most of them. I've got 5. No. Obviously, we're watching. Damn, that's the only reason you're watching? Shit, you must have been so disappointed so far. Shit. Didn't grab foot complete. That's the bit I always worry about when it doesn't grab them properly. Yep, do it. There we go. Right, gripped. Right, there we are. Now, funnily enough, the red Corsairs, they don't tend to have like a red kind of eye lens. They tend to have like a blue kind of thing going on. Very cold blue. Which is, makes them stand out a little bit from the other warbands. I don't know, I kind of like it. Though, lens color does not denote if you're whose side you're on. The Ultramarines have red, for example, as do the Black Legion. So you know. This brush isn't keeping its point very well, but I've had it for a while, so you know. There we go. Now I'm going to put a paint in there to kind of give it a kind of bluish glow later. I think I've got achromatic blue somewhere. Oh, by observing my favorite. Fair. Ultra blueberries. Yeah, no, don't worry. You always see no blueberries. Right, I need. Have a quick look in my painting. Oh, the pencil. You know, just plot. That. Right, sorry about that. Scone paint. Put this away for a bit. I will see if I can find my achromatic blue. I definitely have achromatic blue knocking around somewhere. But I only need it for a bit. Right. We'll focus mostly on the Reeve Captain. He's he's going to have the most stuff to do. Being a character, he is covered in details. And now I have to get him back on this. Come on, you bastard. Get. Okay. He's on nice and tight. Building up some retro third Ed Dark Eldar. Damn, those are some classics, my boy. Those are some absolute classics. Right. Have some Storm Vermin fur. And as always, kids, thin your fucking paints, otherwise they look like someone's just fucking nutted all over your model. You don't want your model to look like someone's nutted on it. Right. Let's put a little bit of this on this side of the cape as well, I think. Anyone who's painted one of these will tell you capes can be a bastard. I agree with them. Capes are a bastard sometimes. Admittedly, if I wanted to save myself a little bit of agony, I wouldn't have put the fucking thing on. But I think it's part of the actual, like, part of the physical model itself, not like a separate piece. Like it is sometimes. If it's a separate piece, I strongly advise you put it on later. You will thank me for this. You have the option. Right. Again, some of these colours might look a little rough, but a few washes will love to paint capes and flowing cloth. Ah, you are the exception. I don't know. I think depending on the cape, sometimes a cape can be a real bastard. Oh, that reminds me, chat. Have you seen the orc that got leaked? The orc warboss. Orc warboss. I'd let that go a bit too far up the brush. They got leaked, and then they basically had to go, yeah, there's a warboss coming out, guys. Here it is. Look, we definitely planned this. I don't know. I think myself, I've never really enjoyed the process of doing a cape, but I think you never know. Well, we'll see how this one turns out. I think doing it with flat colours rather than the contrasts makes it a bit easier. now know how most New Yorks will be like. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it looks decent, I will say. I'll let that dry. Do another thin coat. Right. We'll put a layer of this on the plasma coils as well. I'll need to like brighten them up afterwards, but I think if I block this in sort of lightly, then I can kind of build up more of a brighter blue. Painting Chaos Marine. I am indeed. I'm painting some Red Corsairs. Yeah, he's got some Terminator buddies. I'm only painting 2 of them up fully, or gonna try to paint them up. He's got some Terminator buds. He looks a bit bigger than them, admittedly. It's always a bit funny. What's the favorite background music? It reminds me of Safe Room 07. It is Holy Terror. 3 hours of blissful choir and piano music for reading, painting, and sleeping. I literally just looked up some like Warhammer music, like some ambience, and that was what came up. I thought it'd be quite nice. Right. Rightio. Very cool says, huh? I always thought it was strange that Chaos Marines adopted second founding laws, to be honest. So, it varies, right? It's like, obviously you've got the legions, like the Black Legion, Iron Warriors, Night Lords, all these older, like, you know, heresy era guys, right? Right on the nose, he is right on the nose. So basically, the Red Corsairs. I went to the bit of the history earlier, but TLDR, they were a second founding chapter who then turned traitor when they kind of, in their eyes, the Imperium betrayed them. And there's a running joke that basically Huron went traitor because he didn't want to pay taxes. And, you know, that's very much a trend for them. And so they become pirates who are here to ruin the Imperium. One might ask how Huron and Abaddon are different, and it's quite simple. Abaddon wants to destroy everything. Red Corsairs want to raid and pillage. But Abaddon literally wants to annihilate the entirety of the Imperium. He wants to literally let the galaxy burn And he believes this is his right to do it. To finish what his father started 10,000 years ago. The Corsairs don't have this mindset. Instead, very much believe that many of them do actually believe the legions are dumb, because it's been 10,000 years. You've not even been on the steps of Terra. I believe Huron even once commented, when referring to one of his Reeve captains who had turned to his side from the Black Legion. And I believe he said something along the lines of, if I had only gotten as far as you had in 10,000 years, I would have probably given up. Because, it's a rough one. So he doesn't have a lot of respect for Abaddon and his lot. So, yeah. Now, this brown might look a little bit rough, but don't worry. The power of shading, it'll look just fine. I'm just going to use a little bit of it on the fur here. Wash it a bit more. Water. That floof. All. Again, we're going to use a wash on the floof. Probably use a contrast paint, in fact, just to really home in that colour. Oh, bloody hell. Overspilled a bit there. I need to repaint black a little bit on that side. Right. How are we looking? The Red Corsairs do indeed hate taxes. They hate taxes, they hate the Imperium. Though, at least at first, they didn't quite hate the Emperor. I don't know if they do now, they might do now. It's been a while. And probably a lot of their members who joined now hate the Emperor. But back in the day when they first started, they hated the Imperium, not their Emperor. What's very tragic is Huron did everything right up until he seceded and started doing things a bit more unorthodox. His chief apothecary, for one, was a bit of a fucking madman even before. You can get his chief apothecary as a model with Huron. He's also got his new head sorcerer, who is a former Mantis warrior, actually. He has no Lamenters because, you know what? Lamenters didn't defect even once, or at least none of them officially. Obviously, your own headcanon, you might say actually some of my guys are former Lamenters, and you know what? Fully justified. But I like to think that they stayed loyal, even when everything was against them. Because Lamenters are good lads, just that the universe fucking hates them. With a passion. Right. I think it's time for some metallics, chat. I think it's time for metallics. The time has come for metal stuff. Now you might be wondering why I kept it held off as long as I did. Oh shit. Simple answer: metal flakes in the water is a factor. There's a heavy factor that flakes. The servant dominance is peak trait or fiction. Just a sector of space that defected because of taxes. But they are fully loyal and they are all Chads fighting a four-way war. Indeed. I do hope one day they do something with that. Humans who haven't turned to Chaos or Xenos, they've just gone, no, the Imperium's way's wrong. And it could just be as simple as they encountered a Golden Age AI that also recognizes the Imperium's wrong. Because this happened before. But it could just be as simple as a governor once just went, the Imperium's rule isn't just, this isn't the Emperor's way. And as such, I'm seceding from the Imperium. Here's the thing, the Imperium sometimes will let you go. They will let you go. If your world isn't that useful. Here's the problem for you. Yeah, they let you go. But they've also stopped supporting you. Your cries for help go unanswered. Your resources will not be delivered. By seceding the Imperium, you have essentially given up any protections. You're going to be using some Runelord Brass, by the way, for some of these metallics. I like Runelord Brass. You might want to use gold. It's up to you. This might be a bit of a faff. No, shit. slightly overspilling. I can see where I've kind of gone a little, but again, we can always do a little bit of cleanup post-stream. Plus, again, washes are a good friend. Got a prime, no worries, man. What Eldar starts about? Oh yeah, a bunch of Eldar dinosaurs are pretty fucking cool. Ooh, for 2 hours, have I? Ah, now. How tired it makes me. Oh, after brown. No worries, man. Hey, welcome back. This brush is losing its point again. Probably could have kept it better, but it is what it is. Right. Alrighty. I think that's coming along rather nicely. Should we agree, chat? Look the pommel of his mace. Press 2. Bloody hell, don't poke that with that. Right. Did see there's a few bits I missed with the brown, so I'm going to go back real quick and should be okay. Obviously, I don't recommend using non-metallics after using metallics in plain water, but if you're quick enough, shit, I need to stop hitting things while I'm shaking my paints. You know, there are times like this chat where I realise I am fucking clumsy some days. It's a very big annoyance for me. This is making me realise I need a newer brush. put it on screen more so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Right. Where's my silver? I at least want to get to the point where I've given one of these guys a good wash. He's coming. He is all coming together. Yeah, there it is currently. Now, the lenses, again, I'm going to do a bit of like achromatic bloom. Give a bit of a glow. So that isn't the final step. Wherever I put my... Or Baroff blue. I do have some Baroff blue. Nice bright blue. Celestial grey. What's this? Iron Hand Steel. This is a good metallic. So we're using some Iron Hand Steel. Now I am thinking of dabbling in some non-G-dubs paints, because there are some very good non-G-dubs paints knocking around. I do encourage if any of you do start painting your own minis, do have a look around like Two Thin Coats or Army Painter, because there are some pretty nice paints out there that aren't Games Workshop. Not to say Games Workshop do bad paints necessarily, because some of their paints are really good actually, but there are others around if you want something a bit cheaper, but as good. I know I'm overspilling a bit. I'm going to clean that up. Recommend Vallejo and Army Painter. The also good thing with them, Army Painter have those speed paint pens you can have, so you don't have to deal with paint necessarily. You can just use a pen, just has paint in it. So if you don't like using a brush, it is a valid option for you. And I'd say you are still a valid painter for using them. Right. Get more of a point on this brush again. Paint on this brush. Again, I definitely could have taken better care of this brush over the years. It probably does need a bit of, like, certain soapings for brushes. Hard time saying the usage of painting pens since they can't do Irish area detail to get only really good flat powers. I think it's for like certain straight lines, or maybe like for certain free-handed designs potentially. That brush is not got a. Right. Oh, obviously the mace. Bit of an easier one to paint, that is. This Powerball here, but a meaty little number. Does a nice. Oops. Shit. Does a nice solid 2 damage per hit. That's the reason I went with it. Because I'll be honest, the Power Sword has sustained hits, but does 1 damage. Space Marines have 2 damage, and they take 2 wounds. So, you know, I figure, hey, I want something that can deal with a Space Marine consistently. Just noticed a bit of red get covered over. I'm going to quickly switch to Blood Angel Red. So can't just fix that up very quickly. Right. There we go. Alright. Time for washes, kids. I haven't learned the power of horror specs. He's one of my games today. Killed close to 20 legionnaires on his own. The horror specs is, which one's that again? Is that that Gene Stealer Cults? Is that the fucking free-armed cowboy? Or is that a different fella? In retrospect, I probably should have done. And then again, actually, no. The black helmet, I'm not going to fucking hit with bone oil anyway, because, like, why would I need to shade black? It's literally black. It's the big oh, that thing. Jesus, yeah. I didn't know how good those were. This one's been a very well used non-oil, you can probably tell. I don't know if I spilled it or anything. I might have done at some point. Problem with these bottles, man. They spill easy. You think of the Kellamorph? Ah, yes I am. Oh, shit. Sometimes I realize I miss shit. Listen, chat, my results are great, but my process is terrible. That's something I will say. My process is awful. And I apologize for making anyone wince from it. Hey, Major General, are you using contrast? I'm using a bit of contrast and some normal paints. So the black's Abaddon Black, for example. But then I'm using some non-oil, just those silvers. Chaos trimming. Indeed, chaos trimming. Although at least the Red Corsairs have the decency not to have too much fucking trim. That's one thing I'm thankful for. The Red Corsairs did not feel the need to cover themselves in trim yet. Although, I'm sure when I paint up a Chaos Lord and Bunch of Chosen at some point, which I will, because I'm a dumbass and I'm going to have a Chaos Lord and some Chosen in my warband, that's when that'll bite me. Need more Norn. Just realised. Norn. There we go. Right. Oh. God. There we go. That should help tie all the colours together rather nicely. Now, you might be asking, Kerbal, are you going to use some Agrax? Of course I am. Don't want trim, how about I double it and give you the next one? Oh god. I sit down and paint my sister of Russ. Battle. Ah. How are sisters, by the way? I've been tempted sometimes. I look at Sisters Battle, I'm like, god, they have really nice models. The war suits, I didn't like them at first, but you know what? I confess. I do confess. they've grown on me quite a lot. They've grown on me quite a bit. And a slightly more precise brush for the Agrax. Whereas my most used wash. Nundums, indeed the Nundums. Right, you know it, you love it, it's Agrax Earthshade time. Ugh, it's gonna be that, is it? Droop on me constantly. Fine. Right. Let's... I am going to be using some Goons Grime Villainy ink once everything else is done. Could use it straight out of the pot on this thing, but I'll be honest, I do like to just put it on the palette first. There's a few more bits I could probably put some silver on, but I'll do that later. Can you say L with your mouth closed? Oh. Something like that, I think. A lot of TTS. A little bit, yes. Oh, no, thank you, thank you. I have a little bit. I got Epic Dactytus Repentia, and it's not horny. Oh, the base model Sister Repentia are pretty fucking bad for that. They used to be worse. I'm sure you know fine well, they used to be worse. Right, you. Oh, hang on. Almost forgot about these here. Where's my bills? Silicon Grey. That's the one I want too. Because that Imperial Eagle needs to be done as well. As this one's a contrast, I can just use it straight out the pot. I'm not going to make the Eagle too fancy because, you know, at the end of the day, it's a train piece. Plus, it's somewhat tarnished. Insert your Elden Ring jokes here. If any red spilled onto it, I'm not going to lie, I'll probably just work it as some kind of, like, blood. Right. Now, I'll probably need to do a little bit of work on the helmet detail, but that's alright. Some metallics in the grill, and little bits, but that'll be easier now than the rest of the details. Put a little bit of this on the end of the plasma pistol. So I want to build up a little bit of that heat-looking effect. Yeah, I would say, chat. He's looking pretty good. Now, obviously, he needs to dry off. Box old school demonettes. Now, that is some horny shit. But you know what? At the same time, I always said, in my opinion, the demonettes are supposed to be attractive. I don't think it's incorrect to point out, hey, the demonettes are kind of meant to be the lure. It's the keepers of secrets are meant to be they're like absolutely way too far. The old sisters. Oh, yeah. Indeed, indeed. They got the old demonettes. I do think. I'll tell you one thing. I saw the. Is it the metal? What are they called? The metal pink horrors. That's it. Where they're made like ripping in half. Gundams did the dirty. Mm-hmm. Right. Honestly, he's looking pretty fucking good now. There are some bits and bobs we need to do to clean up, but that's fine. You know what? While we're here, we might as well just sort the metallics that I missed before, and we'll just somewhat re-wash them bits. Where's my itty bitty whittle brush? And I need you again. You know what's nice as well, by the way? Mark 7 armor. Do you know how much I've missed the Mark 7 helmet? It sounds like such a small thing, I know. It's such a specific niche nerd thing. But I really when I joined 40k, that was the armor. The Mark 7. That has like always been to me the armor that should have been the face of the franchise. So I will confess, I always felt the Primaris didn't really rep it properly. I'm kind of glad they're starting to bring back those marks of armor, but seriously, I remember like seeing the newer armors and I'm like, where is my grill? Like the thing is, the Mark 7 looked aggressive. Which we gave up some iconic. They really did. They really did. I think they got scared. And I think they've only just now realized that actually no, people like it's so recognizable. The thing is, the Primaris Marines, if they were in any other franchise, would probably like you wouldn't realize they were Warhammer. Sometimes you really wouldn't realize it. Because to be totally honest with you, they're so like kind of generic Space Warrior that you wouldn't think Space Marine necessarily. Oh, the Terminators. I'm glad that you know. I bet you they didn't want to bring back Terminators. That's my conspiracy theory. They didn't want to bring back Terminators. They wanted aggressors to take them over. And then when the aggressors didn't really sell the way they wanted, then they gave up on it. So I can know how much paint on my fucking hand at this rate. Because they want to make a new Land Raider. Honestly, yeah. Although I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be too upset if they just let us use the Heresy Land Raider, to be perfectly honest with you. Just let us use the fucking Heresy Land Raider, you cowards. I want to see how this Briar Queen shill does for the glow and lenses. It's not achromatic blue, but there's like a cold glow to it. I kind of want to see how it looks. I'm not sure if that's too much. Looks alright, I think. Honestly, the Land Raider as is fine. I like the Heresy Land Raider quite a bit. I will confess, I do like the Demos pattern Rhino quite a bit as well. Right, I think there's one last thing I want to do to this fella. I think it's time for the Goon's Grime. Now, I know some people say to put a spray above, but I'll be perfectly honest, I've never needed it. Though the last time I used this stuff was for Death Guard, because I'm not gonna lie, this grime stuff, fucking beautiful Death Guard. Now, see if I can crack this open, because it's a bastard to open normally. If I can open it. There we go. This thing is never easy to open at the best of fucking times. Oof. Solidified a little bit into some gunge. I'm sure that's okay. Now, is this pipette fucked? This pipette might be just fucked. I don't know how I feel about my work on Dark Elder Warrior. Kind of looking retro, but I don't know. Let me get a different brush. I'm using that one for this. This one should do nicely. Right. I It is possible the Goon's Grime might be fucked up. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I might need to get some new villainy inks. Mine appear to have gone bad. Then again, they did change them up recently, so... Oh god, yeah, that has gone kind of bad. Yeah, these ones have been here a while, and I have a sneaking suspicion they've all gunked up, so I might need to look at replacing these. That'll be 2 seconds, yeah? Sorry about that, chat. Yeah, the Goon has gone stale. That's regrettable, because it had quite a nice effect. And kind of, like, slimy, I think. So I can describe it. Let me quickly get a little bit of the white mineral spirits. Just put it on the brush, just to clean it a bit. Right. Good. Right. Well, that's not going to work then. Okay. Fine. Fine. We'll have to, do smelly anyway. Got time to use the homemade goon. The homemade goon. To be honest, that's probably going to be... Let's see. You know what? A little bit of these two together I find to be quite a nice mix. A bit of Lamia, of course. Actually. See how this brush goes. Right. So what I was gonna do is use the Goon's Grime to basically like really grim dark it up a bunch. But regressively, that ain't gonna happen. So, plan B, chat. Plan A medium, along with these two washes, and basically blend together a very kind of like dark kind of sort of gritty wash. On. There's a little bit of flesh shade in there. No, so no Lamian Goon. No Lamian Goon, no. It's a shame those ones went kind of bad, but at the same time, I think I know why. They're weird, those ones are. The newer ones I don't think have their own pipettes built in. They're basically like kind of an oil ink, essentially. They're a weird one. They're pretty good effects. It's just... You know, sometimes you gotta improvise a little bit and make your own kind of thing. If you're wondering, this was a promotional thing from Element Games. It comes with the packages, but I just decided to use it as a palette because it didn't soak up paint, which was quite helpful. Right. I'm gonna soak most of the model in this, avoiding like things like the lenses of the helmet and stuff where I can. I'm gonna try and soak most of the model in this. Then later on I'll come back and highlight the shit out of stuff. This won't be too heavy, thankfully. It's actually quite light. In fact, it's very light, actually. Goddamn. Maybe it's too light. Right, I think, chat. Right, I'll have to stop my own thing. No worries, man. Oh, I will. Once he's dried up, I will be. But yeah, I think, chat, this is a good place to wrap things up, to be honest. So, I think I'll stop here for tonight. I seem to have Kerbal's plush that be stored. Oh my god. Right, chat. I'll leave you be now. You've been a pleasure as always. Do have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, whatever time it is for you. And I will see you all next week, as I'm not streaming tomorrow. But I may well be doing some painting. We'll see. But, till next time. Bye-bye.